Especially when we getting hot up in them subjects.
Okay.
That's right. That's right, Big Daddy.
So I went live already.
Y'all ready?
Yes, indeed.
What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. Welcome to this week's episode of Everyday People, Everyday Conversations. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tiffany D. Collins.
And I'm one of your hosts too, Tiffany Tifco Joseph. And I'm dropping nuggets tonight, just like every night.
And I'm one of your co-hosts, Anika Roseboro, better known as Nika Rika.
Yes.
Hey, what is happening, peeps? I'm Bashan, one of your co-hosts, holding it down for all the men and the bros out there.
All right.
Yes. So once again, y'all, we want to welcome y'all to this week's episode. And listen, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned from beginning to end because we have some awesome things that we're going to discuss. And y'all don't want to miss our main topic of today. So make sure y'all stay tuned. So now at this very moment, we have not one, not two, but three awesome guests that we are going to have on our show on today. So y'all, let's go ahead and give them a round of applause. Yes. So first, we have three guests. We have Miss Brandia Perry. Yay. We have KORRA Williams.
All right.
And we have Miss And we want to formally thank each of you ladies for taking the time out to talk with us on today. So, Missy Brandon, we're going to go ahead and start with you, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
So, again, thank you for joining our show on today.
Thank you, ladies.
Could you go ahead and tell the viewers at what age did you start singing and when did you start your whole journey as a singer?
I started singing when I was 3 years old. I grew up in a small town. Well, not really a small town, Toledo, Ohio. I come under the tutelage. My dad was a minister. And so our church in Toledo, Ohio, Faithway, Shirley Murdoch was a member of that church. And so my first influence of singing came by way of Shirley Murdoch, having them put me in the adult choir with everybody. So that's kind of how I got my start singing. And I've been singing ever since.
All
right. So, hello, ladies. Thank you all for joining in again today. I just want to formally invite everybody today. We in hot ass Houston, but we cooling out tonight because we finally got some rain.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that rain.
God for the rain.
Look, it's fall, but it's fall yet, y'all. But it's technically fall.
It's technically fall.
But fall ain't failed just yet.
That sun is hanging on, So, Missy Brady, this would you like us to call you that, or what would you like us to call you on the show?
That's fine. But I'm gonna tell you how to say it right though.
Okay,
Ebrandia.
Ebrandia. That's the reason why I want to change it, because I know you personally.
What's your nickname?
In the professional world, I am Ebrandia.
Okay.
I love it.
But to my friends, to y'all know y'all can call me Brandy or EDIA, as most of y'all do anyway.
Okay. Yes. So if it's okay, I'll be calling you EDIA on tonight.
That's fine.
Okay. Besides having a love for singing, I know that you are an actress as well here in Houston.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to know two questions. One, what was your first love? Was it singing and acting? Or did singing draw you into acting? Or did acting draw you into singing? And my second question would be, how do you juggle the two?
So singing actually drew me into acting. I have my most of my experience would be musically, just because I grew up in a musical family. My dad played every instrument known to man. My mom played the organ, so I was always intertwined with music. That's just kind of how it got started.
Come on, Jackson 5.
But as I grew, I kind of realized that there was some performance to singing, you know, and although in different aspects of it, you know, you are performing and creating an environment to entertain people. And so acting kind of grew from that. And so I actually had my first audition 1985, 84, 85. I auditioned for the role of Rudy Huxtable. Not too many people know that.
Wow.
That
I was 8 years old
I
when
was,
I found it out,
I was
man.
an original auditioner. Yep.
Oh, wow.
And so I actually did get the call back for that role. But we missed the secondary round of auditions because my dad fell asleep on the toilet. And when the school bus dropped me off at home, they ended up taking me back to school because nobody answered the door when I got home. And so we ended up missing that second call back. And of course, it went to Keisha Knight Pulliam, but I think I would have been a shoe-in
Yes,
had I made it to that second call back.
My God,
that's awesome, Edia.
how did your dad feel about that?
He was so upset. He was so upset because it was actually him who broke that ground for me. Whatever it was that he saw in me, he kind of was the one that pushed me in that direction.
Okay.
And you know what, Eddie, I'm a firm believer. Like I said, I know as much as that may have stung at the time, I'm a firm believer that what's for us is for us.
Absolutely.
So for whatever
Absolutely.
reason, it's like with no doing of your own and nobody in particular, but God, it's like he blocked that door for some reason. It's like that door would have been a great door, but it just wasn't, I guess, that door for you at the time. But he had
It wasn't for me at that time.
that are for you. You know? So I'm a firm believer in that.
God knew about Bill.
And you're absolutely right.
God knew about Bill. That's why.
You're absolutely right. Because really what came out of that was not too long after that, my parents separated and we ended up moving to Texas, you know, so that would have been a whole, you know, mess of a transition anyway, trying to do the two. So, you know, like you said, it probably was not meant for me at that moment.
Yeah, and you know what? God knows best because He's doing some big and better things, baby, as we speak. In the name of Jesus. All right.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you continued on, you know, and you didn't let that little hurdle stop you.
Yeah, and I was so young, you know, that it really didn't have that big of an impact on me because, you know, you really don't know at that time. You know, you just go on with the flow, you know, of things. And it wasn't until I was older and like understood what was really going on, like, oh man, that was the opportunity of a lifetime, you know, but you know, it is what it is.
Yes.
Okay, now I want to ask you, not only that you're a talented actor, you're also a playwright.
All right. A serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. Her last play, I went to her last play, and I had fun because the actors was coming out of the audience.
Yeah.
I never been to a play like that. I was sitting right by an actor. He was over there having a whole conversation with me while he was in the play. I didn't even know until he had got up. But,
oh wow!
And see, you have to be creative in this industry.
You do.
He's talking about y'all. I was in the final hours of a dead church.
I
was a prosecutor in her play, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, all three of our guests were in the play.
Elaborate on that play. As I recall, I think that you was trying to, you were going to travel with it. Is that still in the works?
So it is still in the works. However, the way that the promoter is working it is they want to actually cast it in the locations that they want to bring it. And so we're still kind of working out the details of how that would work, because now that I travel with my own job, it's kind of hard for me to jump around like I would want to. So for instance, I know that the Kansas contract is pretty much, the deal is sealed on that it is going to go to Kansas, but we're just kind of working out the details with it.
That is wonderful.
Right.
Now, last but not least, EDIA, tell us about your character in the Walk Up Purity series, which was directed by Tifco.
No,
Tiffany.
not Tifco.
Tiffany.
I'll take it
We
though.
have two Tiffany's, guys.
I'm in
Right.
Yeah, she's in it.
Yeah.
So I just have to say just about that series altogether. When I came to see the play the first time, me and my husband came to see it, and we were so engaged in the topic. And by the time the play was over, I was so amazed just at how well written it was. I'm real big on writing, and when you have a concept and you write it out, being able to understand kind of where it's going and understand the language. And it was so easy to follow, and it was so easy to digest. I was just really engaged in it. And so when Tiffany was going into the works about doing the series, I don't even think I knew about the series yet, but I had made mention to her, if there's anything that I can do to help, to be a part, just let me know, because I would love to, just because I loved everything about it so much. And, I'm real big on working with people of quality. So it was just whatever I could do to be a part of that. I was just willing. So when she called and said, I have a role I'd like you to read for, and she said it was her stepmom in the play, I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. But it was really fun, and I appreciate the opportunity just to be a part of it. And I hope I get to come back in part 2.
Oh, come on,
and continue on. But that was an awesome body of work, and I applaud you, Tiffany. For putting that out there unapologetically. Allowing the world to see, that it's okay to have a walk of purity. So,
right. Thank you so much. And let me just piggyback up of what you just said. So one thing about me, which I think some playwrights are like me, but then others are not. To me, it's like once you show me loyalty, I'm loyal. So it's almost as if you've been with me, it's like you will shoot in, unless you tell me, hey, I can't do it this time, then I'm gonna have to cast somebody else. But baby, you with me to the end.
Yeah.
Baby, season 1, we got season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 coming up. Okay. If you with Tiffany, you with Tiffany all the way, unless you're not available.
Right.
That's how
right.
All right.
That's how I roll.
Tiff.
Yes, indeed.
And also, before we get, move on to our next guest, I would like to just talk about, you have a show coming up.
I do.
October what? What day?
October 7th. So 2 weeks,
guys. October 7th.
2 weeks away.
Come in the back of rehearsal one day, and she was just supporting her son in the play that I was directing, and I was like, baby, you supposed to be in this play. And she said that I brought her back out because she had retired or just went into medical at that time. And I'm so glad that I brought you back out and be a part of that. So, God, put a little.
He put the right people in place at the right time, and I really appreciate you for reigniting a fire that I probably put out on myself and didn't need to, but I'm really excited about EDIA Live 2.0. This is actually part 2 to my first concert that we did in 2019, which that was awesome by itself. But this time around is a totally different experience, because this time it's personal. This is for me. This is a war cry for me. And so, however, I'm able to help people usher in, and break chains. And, just this is a moment for me to be transparent in some of the things that I've been going through in my life. So I'm just really, really excited about this second dose of EDIA Live. It's not the same, you heard me singing like, oh, she can sing. This time it's personal. We
gotta be there. We gotta be there.
We're gonna be there. So EDIA, it's gonna be October 7th. What time and what place?
October 7th, the doors open for seating at 6 o'clock. The concert is going to start at 7. It's at Victory Community Church is the building we're using, 8420 Alameda Genoa, Houston, Texas.
Yes, indeed. Okay. I will be there, and I believe the whole Epic team. We're gonna be there, right?
We're gonna be in the house.
We're gonna be in the house.
Thank y'all. Yeah. Thank y'all so much.
We're going to move on to Miss DETRAH.
DETRAH!
DETRAH, I see that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I see that you have done several stage plays and films. Tell me, which one do you love doing the most out of the two?
I want to say stage plays. I like being on film, but I love stage plays because I don't have time to second guess myself. And it's just like the adrenaline of it. Like once you get on stage and go, you just go. There's no stopping, no starting. It is what it is. So
Yes,
Boy, for
that's
real.
a fact.
That's a true
I love that
statement.
live interaction
is.
too. I'm with you.
yes,
Too. I like to actually hear the audience's reactions.
Mhm.
exactly. Because they make you go harder. Like if they into it, they make you go harder.
And
But it's something like film. Like when you're in the film, you kind of gotta wait for the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when you right there live and on stage, you feel the feedback. You feel it. You know, it's a different
Right.
but,
exactly,
you know, but we like
And then you don't have to think about what you look like on camera or nothing. You just go.
You just go. You'll deal with that later. They got a bad
Yes.
angle. It is what it is.
For real. It's all about them angles.
So DETRAH, you know, since
Exactly.
I've been knowing you, I've watched you evolve on so many levels, and you are very talented in making your mark here in Houston. You are an actress, a writer, and a director. Would you prefer, you know, which one would you prefer, being in front of the camera or behind the camera?
Good question.
Okay, I'm kind of bossy. So look, I'm being honest. I really like working behind the camera because it's something to see a vision come to life. Like we can always have this in our mind in the back of our heads, but to actually see it unfold and take place, that's a whole nother
That's magic.
that's a whole nother feeling. Like it's undescribable. So I like to see the vision come to life. So I like being in the front, but I definitely love being behind.
Okay.
Working, directing. Yeah.
You like to kind of see the fruits of your labor come to play. It's like it's one thing
Yes.
being in the limelight, but when you know you put that work in and you get to actually sit back and watch it versus being a part of it, it's like a whole new type of feeling of fulfillment that comes across, you know?
You're like,
And
yep.
the stress of entertaining.
Yeah.
And the stress of entertaining, you know, is off of your shoulders, and then your creative juices can really, really work when you when you bringing it, putting it all together.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about This and That, the movie.
Woo!
That was
You got the place.
What, last week?
Yes.
I think so.
I was like, is that DETRAH in that? Is that DETRAH in that movie?
You did it.
Oh my God.
Like,
Y'all are funny.
Houston, we are on fire. I mean, I just like to give a shout out to everybody from Houston. We on fire. We're writing, we're directing. We got movies coming out. We got series coming out.
Yeah.
Let's go Houston.
Let's go.
DETRAH.
Let's
And
go.
everybody tonight, I want y'all to give it up for DETRAH Brown. She was in the hit movie This and That. And it's out on Tubi, guys.
Yes, indeed. So what I want to know is how was it working on set doing that movie, and what did you do to prepare to act that role?
Oh Lord. So
we want all the details.
We want all the details. We got time today.
It was fun. It was stressful because I already I'm very hard on myself, and you know, to be honest, I have had self-esteem issues. And so to see okay, you got to wear this and you got to wear that. And then, you know, I'm married. So I'm walking out the house and my husband, where you going? I'm like, is it okay? You know, is this okay? And, you know, I know how far I can go, but it was very out of my comfort zone, but I'm glad that I did it. You know, Brandy, I was texting Brandy. I was like, Brandy Specs. I was like, girl, look. She was like, no, you got this. You can do this. You can do this. And then after I actually did it, you know, to go the second and the third day, I became more comfortable. And so actually every time I step in front of a camera or I'm doing stuff out of my comfort zone, it just pushes me to say, you don't have to be ashamed of what you look like. You don't have to be ashamed of this, and you don't have to be ashamed of that. You're beautiful. Your body's beautiful. You're smart. You know, so just it just gives me it was a confidence boost for me personally. Right. It was definitely a confidence boost.
I believe you was in the opening scene, and I said, babe, sis up there acting like she know what she doing, coming up that stuff. I said, come on now,
girl, let me tell you, it's me. You know I'm from the hood, girl. I done seen it done.
Okay, let us hear them stories then. That's what we want to know about.
I'm just saying, I done seen it done. I can't put y'all in my family business now. Be quiet for Sean.
Oh yeah, you really been in the hood. You're absolutely right.
Oh my goodness.
But when you
Quiet.
delving into a character, no matter what it is, you have to. Uh-oh.
Oh, my fault, y'all.
I'm glad it was the phone. I'm glad it was the phone. I thought it was you. But anyway,
Oh,
You lost it.
so we'll come back to
There
her,
she
but we're
go.
gonna move on to KORRA.
KORRA.
Everybody give it up to KORRA.
yes, indeed.
Hey
All right,
everyone.
Miss
What's up,
KORRA.
Fred?
So
She
we
said-
see you are a singer as well, and are using your gifts for the ministry. At what age did you start singing?
So my family, I grew up in a quartet family in a small town called Shiro, Texas. And so I started singing or being around. I've been around music my entire life, but I personally kind of started singing around 6 or 7.
Okay.
Who's that?
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
So, hello, my name is Tiffany Tifco Joseph. That's if you've didn't hear me when I announced myself who I was. So glad to meet you, all
Nice to
you
meet
wonderful people from Walker Purity. Y'all not only Walker Purity actors in the series, but y'all doing
Proud
so
mom.
many other things here in Houston. So my question to you is, what was the difference about the final hours of a dead church in 2018 and bringing the character Pauline?
Done had it.
Done had it.
Thank y'all. Back in 2022.
When we originally, so a little background between Brandy and I. So Brandy and I go to the same church, and so I was at the church first with my husband, and then Brandy came in with the new organist, and so we built. We always say we started dating each other. We built a relationship and a bond then, and so. Right away, she would tell me about all these ideas and things she had going on. And so in 2018, when we did the final hours of a dead church, we did it at our church. And so at that point in time, just trying to be a supportive friend. And, I was like, oh, okay, whatever you need, I'll do it. Whatever. And so I did. And so when she brought it back this time, it was just on a different scale. And so being around like real actors and real actresses and people who are really in the business, really in plays like Tiffany and DETRAH and some of the other casts from the 2022 Final Hours of a Dead Church, it really made me take it seriously. And like it brought out something in me that I didn't even realize was there. It kind of unlocked a gift that I didn't even know I had. And so Ebrandia, DETRAH, Tiffany, they are really good about pulling things out of you that you don't even realize are lying dormant. And so in 2022, Paulina done had it. Although she was pretty cool in 2018, Paulina done had it, took a whole new outlook on life. And then between then and there, like I'm a teacher in real life. And so I was playing the Sunday school teacher. And by now, from 2018 to 2022, I've had experience dealing with bad kids. And so I really was able to tap in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because baby, I couldn't tell.
I done had it.
I couldn't tell, like you said like people like me and DETRAH were bringing other things out of you. Like to me, I felt like, shoot, you've been acting just as long as I've been acting. I couldn't tell that you had just started or nothing like that. It seemed like you were pretty experienced because it's like, baby, you killed that with ease.
And that's always that's always a great advantage and opportunity to be able to work with actresses and actors that seasoned. And if you just willing,
Coachable.
and if you're willing and coachable, you can always rise to the occasion. So like you said, that was great that you was working with people that pull it out of you, and that was first and foremost not afraid to help you go all the way. But it's a team effort in acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And KORRA, hey, how you doing?
Hey, Fred.
It's that Coleman love. Hey, I was going over your bio. I want you to let the our audience know how did you juggle being a wife, a mother of 5, educator, dealing with other people's kids, and also being an actress.
I really have to give a lot of credit to a support system at home, and to like Ebrandia being a mom as well, and women nowadays, we wear a lot of different hats.
Yes,
My grandmother is 94. My grandfather just turned 106 on
Ooh,
September 9th.
wow.
That is a blessing.
Yeah, it's a different blessing. And, I watched my grandmother clean people's houses, comb my hair, and cook a meal all at the same time. And so
Wow.
having a good support system, having people understand like this is what's needed this time, and then just being able to like Brandy was gracious enough to let me bring my kids with me on the nights I needed to. When I didn't, because I don't have a babysitter, so like if they're not home with my husband, they have to come with me, and so she didn't mind. And then just having to find the balance. I mean, I think some of my experience in my job with being a real mom and a real educator, I was able to put my character just in the sense of being able to act a certain way that I couldn't do in real life. Like I can't really whip somebody's child in real life with Paulina like Daddy could in the play. So I was able to kind of release some frustration with some, difficult students or kids or even my own kids through my character in the play. So I thank God for the opportunity and for just the stretch and the pull that he allowed me to be stretched and pulled and really matured me in a lot of ways, because you don't know what you can actually handle until you have to handle it.
Yeah, right.
Amen to that.
That's
Amen.
great answer.
Absolutely. So, KORRA, the viewers would like to know about your character in the Walk of Purity series.
Hey, viewers. Okay. So my character's name is Tanya. And I am the best friend, really kind of former best friend, or, you have your ride or die that you kind of lose touch with in and out, but of the main character. And so, she just kind of comes in, shows up. They kind of reconnect a little bit in a brief moment. But the main character, she gets to express to her best friend about how much she's been missed and like how she's kind of fallen short in some areas. But I think Tanya is relatable because a lot of times as you go through life, you have like a high school best friend and then you get older and sometimes you just outgrow people. And I think one of the things I took away from the character in this series in Walk of Purity is that it seems like they just kind of outgrew each other, not intentionally, but you just kind of grow apart. Life be lifing. And so life is just happening. And so they kind of grew apart. The thing I found solace in is that they were still able to bond. They still had their little, their little sayings and jargon they would use to kind of reconnect and kind of reassure one another that I still got your back and I'm still always here for you.
Right. And y'all, let me just tell y'all, like she killed that role. That's why I said a few minutes ago, when she's telling me that she's like a new actress, I'm like, girl, well, I guess you just not tapping into what you've always been able to do, because you're great. Like, I can't tell that you're just now starting to do this. It's like it's like you give her a script and she just nails it, just like that. But before we move on, DETRAH, we're gonna come back to you for a quick second. We have one more question for you. So you have been now. Let me tell y'all something about DETRAH. DETRAH has been on this journey with me since like I ain't gonna say the birth, I guess since the conception of it, okay? During the play, she was my assistant director. She,
I didn't know that.
She was one of my confidants. Whenever I would be going through stuff, I would come talk to DETRAH, be like, sis, what should I do with this? Like, what should I do with this? Sis, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. She never said no. She was always there. So, sis, I want you to tell me about your experience from when you were my assistant director in the play versus being Peaches in the series.
What's so funny is, to me, they were one and the same person, because you are stubborn and you don't like to listen. And Anika, you can contest, like you can back me up on this. We have to tell Tiffany, sit down. Tiffany, stop worrying. Tiffany, we got this. Tiffany, go over there and do what you need to do. So, exactly. So really, they was one and the same. Yeah, they was one of the same.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
They was one of the same. And Peaches, Peaches was comfortable for me because I am Peaches. Not just the messy one, but to tell you exactly what she sees, to tell you from experience what it is, and if you either like it or you don't like it. But she's telling you the truth from her perspective. So it's all one and the same to me, honestly.
I was gonna say, so I will say this now. You are Peaches in that aspect, but you are not Peach. You are not the antagonizing. You are not that. No.
No.
DETRAH and Peaches are not the same. Because no,
But
baby.
I don't think she antagonized you in what we filmed. Now maybe in part season 2 or something, maybe that part of the show, if you allow her to come back, because you did get an attitude with her, you know, Miss Karen got an attitude with her.
Peaches will be coming back.
Yeah.
There's a lot more Peaches to come, y'all. All right. So now we are going to get ready for our main topic. Can we get a drum roll?
Oh,
please? Yes. Our main topic for this evening is going to be family betrayal. Our main topic is going to be family betrayal. Now, I know all of us have experienced that, whether it's in our own family or whether we know friends and they deal with their own family drama, but we're going to talk about it on tonight.
Yeah.
Let's get into
our
it.
lovely guests to just stand by and chime in. Y'all can share if y'all want to. Y'all can ask some of the questions. Some of the viewers may even ask you guys questions. So just be prepared to answer it. Is if you want to. We're just having fun. Because we are just everyday people.
Everyday
conversations.
baby. But not only does it have to be like family, maybe friend betrayal, any type of betrayal.
Any type of betrayals,
Let's
that you've
keep it open,
experienced.
yeah.
Let's talk about it, and then let's talk about how we're overcoming it or how we overcame it.
And we want to make sure y'all don't betray us, and make sure y'all go over to everyday people, everyday conversation, and like our page and follow us, please.
Yeah.
Come on with the segue. Come on with the segue.
Go on YouTube and in the search box, just type in Epic EPEC Talk Show to see our videos of past shows.
Yes.
Okay.
It's up and running.
Guys,
So
I have a question. Name some common family betrayals that people experience. What do y'all think some of the common ones that people experience?
Like favoritism, certain family members only fool with certain family members, and then vice versa. I support this one, but I don't support you, and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like it's just so toxic. And I know a lot of people develop those type of things, especially if they have siblings. They may experience, their parents may have showed their other siblings more love than they showed them. So they grow up feeling like they've been left out or like they become the black sheep. I've seen that happen to some people, and I think that's very, very, very unfortunate.
But I know some people basically make themselves to the black sheep. Because I have 2 children, they both swear they the black sheep. What do you do then? They both say they the black sheep.
Oh no.
I say you the pink one and you the blue one.
Oh man.
Y'all definitely not the black. But I
Mighty
understand that a lot of betrayal also come from money.
Yeah.
So people will follow that money train. If they have a family member that is wealthy or doing things, then they can be kind of like the ones that influence the family because they got money, and people assimilate money with Mars.
Yeah.
And that's those 2 different things.
What about gossip, lying,
infidelity,
affairs,
jealousy.
Cheating is probably the number 2 next to right after money, because there's a lot of it going on in families. A lot of it. Well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but it is going on from time to time.
Man.
And then people using your past against you. My mama, this is just giving you just a scenario. Maybe my mom or my dad wasn't a great person. So a lot of the hardship and some of the sins of my father or mother has trickled down onto me, and people use that against me and won't give me a chance. That I'm a different person, might have a lot of same characteristics, genetics and stuff like that, but I am a different person, and that's a lot of things with family, that we have to get away from, stereotyping, people those are Susie Jane kids over there, don't miss and stuff like that, because let me tell you something about children will make a fool out of you.
Yeah, it will.
Talking about other people's kids and yours be acting the worst.
Just
let them grow up. And you will see.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with how you raise them, because they get a mind of their own. Don't y'all
agree? I absolutely agree.
And have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen it. I've actually kind of seen that in my own family. I'm not going to pinpoint like what part of my family, but it's like I've seen like my family, like one portion of them. It's like, baby, they grew up like some toy soldiers. Like go to church every Sunday, every day of the week. They had something to do in church. But now it's like each of them have kind of like fallen off in their own different ways. Like, you know, they've either gone like far left doing this and far left doing that, but then it's like some kind of way they'll come back center, but not as structured as they were when they were growing up. And it's almost like their parents are like, you know, where did I go wrong? You didn't go wrong. They turned out to be their own person.
Yeah. But yet you were probably at some point looking at another family member in their little tribe as beneath a Lord. Because I had a friend that actually told me that one time. She said, I'm not raising my kids in South Park like Tiffany. Well, not South Park, McGregor Terrace. I'm raising mine in A-Leaf. And I'm not going to say if her son is a boy or girl because I don't want her saying that I'm talking about her. However, that Negro is a menace to society. He had no reason to. No reason. He had everything he possibly wanted. He was over there faking like being a game. He didn't know what being hard was over there in A-Leaf.
See, and that's crazy, Tiff, because see, I grew up in South Park, okay? But and I know a lot of people wouldn't assume that, but I grew up in South Park and I think I turned out fine.
Yeah.
I grew up in South Park, although I went to Lamar High School, I grew up in South Park.
Yeah, but you ate a syrup sandwich every now and then, did you?
Yeah.
You know, I had a
sandwich. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nothing like a good syrup sandwich.
That Negro didn't never ate a syrup sandwich.
Oh boy, that saved a lot of days.
He didn't have to get it like he lived.
Okay.
Faucet outside.
Man, you talking with the water hose?
With the water hose.
Or the hose pipe, as they say in New Orleans.
Oh my God.
He didn't have to share a hamburger. Everybody take a bite. You know, we were family.
Right.
But we have some comments, y'all. We have Carl Clark. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Carl. He says unconditional love does have a condition. That is absolutely correct.
That's so true.
And
then we have Miss Ashley Nicole. She said money replaces the love in the family.
Man.
And then secrets definitely cause family breakup.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I can definitely tell you some, I guess, a little bit of my experience. So due to my walk of purity and due to some of the ways that I carry myself, some of my family members, they look at me like as if I think I'm all of that, or as if I don't think I'm regular. Yeah, and it's like it's not that I don't think I'm regular. This is the path that I've chosen, and it's like sometimes I feel like I get betrayed because of the path that I've chosen to go from my life, and it's like I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not stopping nobody else from doing them, but I often sometimes feel betrayal from some of my loved ones because of the path that I've chosen. Because it's almost like they're looking at me like, "Who you think you are?" I think I'm Tiffany Danielle Collins, and I'm living my life.
So how does betrayal feel?
It feels horrible
because betrayal is totally different from a lot of different things. Betrayal is one of the hardest things to get over.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a toll on you because betrayal is, you don't know why they're doing it. Why did you do this to me? Why? What did I do to you?
They talk about me, and it's like they don't know I know, but they talk about me because, and I know for a fact they do, because to me, if you talk about everybody else, what makes me so special that you're not going to talk about me? So like they talk about, it's like they'll praise me in my face, but I know behind my back they like, she still ain't got no man. She 37. She ain't, you know, she still talking about this, whatever she trying to do.
Maybe they jealous too because
that's what I was gonna say.
Is that
So a lot of jealousy.
But it feels so betrayed. Like I feel so betrayed because I'm like, dang. For them, you know, for most people, I try to like do the best I can. I try to be there. I try to be supportive.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't get the same, and it's kind of like because of the path that I've chosen.
Right.
So you know what they say in the streets is if you're not doing something right, you don't have haters. You know, so you must be doing something right.
Yeah,
I think that's a good point too.
I'm just like
so
most of the haters come from people that you don't even do nothing to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
And my hating problem.
Absolutely.
Because, and I can be transparent about it, I don't live behind secrets. And I basically say what I feel about whatever. In whatever situation, you know, if I'm going to speak on it, I don't hold nothing in because I'm not going crazy. But mine is because of my past. My mother was a 30-year crack addict. And my dad, you know, lived like 2 houses down from me, who did pretty well for himself. However, you know, everybody loved my daddy. And my mom, she had me very young. She kind of like left the area where I was, left with my grandparents. And I was left there to deal with the backlash of being an illegitimate child. And people judge me from that, from my mother and my dad, and label me as a bad seed. So I always was trying to prove myself my whole life, always trying to prove myself, and that's pretty much why now I don't really go uh hard in trying to prove myself. You take me or you don't, because
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like tired of it, tired of, and but when I see and I recognize some things from my past that I consider betrayal, I will talk about it, and
It kind of becomes a trigger a little
yeah,
bit.
it's a
Yeah.
trigger, and then I'm gonna talk about it.
Tiffany, can I say something?
Yes.
So I also think, Tiffany, especially when you're talking about your walk of purity, I think sometimes people are envious that you made a decision that they feel like they didn't get a chance to make. And so
And
it
it's
makes
hard.
them envious of the fact that you have made this choice to value yourself in a way that maybe they feel like they've been devalued.
Yep.
So it like someone said, jealousy, and I think that resonates with a lot of people, especially women, but especially in families, because what makes her think she's so so much better. But that's a lot of internal hate and regulation. They need to do some self-awareness and some self-work they will have to do on themselves, because you made a choice for you. They can still make the same choice. If you're not married and you're not, if you're out there just laying up with whoever, you get to choose. That is a choice you're making. It's an intentional choice you're making. So I think sometimes when people kind of cash you out, it's because they really want to be able to choose what you chose and walk the walk you've walked, but they already know the backlash and the voices that will come with it, because that's what they are for you.
And that goes the same way with children.
I received that.
That goes the
Mhm.
same way. So she chose her walk, but what about the one that have a lot of children?
Yeah.
People betray them because you had a lot of children. And then in the end, sometimes, I found out that, that Annie that had the most kids, that was the best house to go to.
Yeah.
What y'all think?
The most fun.
That was the most
Because it was
fun.
never a dull moment.
My Aunt Margie, she didn't have a lot of kids, but I think she had like five children. And like Ike, Isaac, Oliver, they all were in the acting community field. And when we were little, me, Ike, and Carl, and boy, we'd have some great times up in that house. And I see how we all formed to be what we are, because we were doing it at a very young age. But I thank God for people that have large families
Yeah.
and decide to do that. But when you're young and when you're going through those problems of raising children, family will kind of like betray you and leave you off to yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, outside influence plays a big role in how family betrayal falls in the pot.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes. Absolutely.
Nick, you was
So
about to say
I
something?
was just gonna say, so tell me some ways that you all think that you can deal with like betrayal.
Yeah. We want to hear from let's see, we want to hear from our
those ways.
guests. How do y'all think y'all can I guess whenever you betrayed, whenever you feel like you've been betrayed, like how did you overcome it?
I can tell you from recent personal experience, the level of betrayal that I experienced or really experienced in my family. It was really hard on me, to the point where I was almost ready to jump off a cliff, just because I didn't understand, like how it's almost like, well, how could you, and
Right.
why would you,
Right.
and that there's no reason to, but you do it anyway, and so that lack of understanding, like, because you can't. And I think in this perspective, what I'm talking about, because I really truly cared a lot about this person, and to find out, that you're an outsider changed the trajectory of what our entire family is about. It was really hard for me to digest and process, because for me, I wouldn't, it's what we think, I wouldn't do that to somebody that I care about, that I unconditionally would lay down my life for you, so it took a lot of prayer. It really did. It took a lot of prayer, and it took a moment of realization, me looking at my kids saying, I cannot function if I'm giving somebody else so much power over me because of what they've done to me. And I had to create a boundary, of how I will allow people to treat me. you know, and that's been one of the hardest things that I've had to do because I am such a tender-hearted person. It's hard for me when people do wrong by me because I am so tender-hearted, and I go to bat for people, and I always try to see the best in people. So when that doesn't happen, you know, the repercussions of that, it really affects me. But I've had to learn to set those boundaries and to really say, you know, there are consequences to how you treat me, and me forgiving you it's not going to stop there. You know,
Yes.
you're gonna have to be accountable for the things that you have done.
Hey, Edie, I want to tell you, it's okay to cuss people out. Go ahead and let it go. It's okay to cuss them out. You feel like cuss them out.
You know what? I'm not about to play with him.
I'm just saying. Keep a lot of stress off your body.
So what about you, DETRAH?
For me, man, because I have finally figured out like the root of it, it's really like family trauma and betrayal, you know. So it's like it was forgiveness, basically just forgiving, because back then I didn't understand, and it's almost like I took the blame, like it was my fault. This is what happened. This is how I'm the reason why you feel this way about me. But when I look at it now that I've gotten older, I understand that was something way before I came along. That's just family trauma. And it's like, because I did have both of my children when I was in high school, you know, so I had the backlash of, you're not going to do this, you're not going to be this, you're not going to do this, you're going to be a hoe, you're going to do this and it. And I was none of those things. You know, I still graduated from high school. I still had some college, and I still got I've been a licensed cosmetologist since 07, 08. You know, so and so when they found out I was leaving the county to pursue acting, then they started labeling me as bougie, and I'm this and I'm that. And I'm like, you're whatever you feeling, that's internal. They don't have anything to do with me. So I had to like literally forgive them for whatever they was thinking, forgiving myself for allowing me to take on whatever they was feeling about me. Like, I'm the reason why it was happening that way, you know, and then just forgive. And whether I deal with you or I don't deal with you, like EDIA said, set boundaries. And so now I don't mind saying no and not giving you an explanation. I don't mind saying I don't want to come to this family function without giving you any explanation, because I'm not all those things that y'all told me I was. Then I believe that I was. And then I have all these complexes about myself. But no, I love myself. I forgive you, and I still love you. But I don't have to deal with it anymore. You know, so it was more so of just forgiveness, forgiving myself, but still, like she said, setting boundaries to where don't take on their trauma as your own. Don't let people keep dumping their garbage in your can. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a boundary.
But family members, what about before you put people down and talk about them, help them first?
Yeah.
They got people that will talk about you and will not help you. I mean, I don't feel like you have
they help you when it's convenient. They help you when it's convenient for them. And I had got to a place where I was struggling. Before I even met my husband, I was struggling because I was afraid to ask people for help because of what they would say. And it's not okay. I remember this one particular incident where I literally stopped asking. I remember I was a temp working for Harris County. This was back in 2000, I think, 2001. And, you know, parking downtown is extremely high. We wasn't making that much money. And exactly. So I was like, hey, can such and such, it was my uncle. I'm going to say who it was. It was one of my uncles. Can I get $10 just until I get off of work? Just so I can go get them some Pampers and blah, blah, blah. He gave me the $10, but I gave it right back when I got home. So later on, like a few more months later, I did such and such for you, and I helped buy this and buy that. And I'm like, what? Like, I paid you back. And so then I got to a point, because it made me feel so small, I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'll just struggle it. I'll tough it out. I'm not going to ask nobody else for help. And it was damaging to me, along with hurting my children, because they had to not just suffer, but go without until I got it. But, you know, I thank God I'm delivered from all of that. If I need help, I'm going to come ask you. But I haven't had to ask, because God has placed it to where I'm able to do it. Like he gave me those resources to where I'm able to do it.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Some people just wear a badge of honor for every little thing they do. It can be
Yeah,
$1
Yeah.
if they give me $1. But if somebody needed $10 and you got it back at the end of the day, I don't think that's bragging rights.
No,
Exactly. Exactly.
and I paid my debt.
You
So-
don't, but you don't
Always throwing in your face.
you uncle. I'm a young lady with children. You don't get bragging rights for $10. Period.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what I was going to say. You don't get to brag about 10 bucks.
No,
Look, it wasn't even the gas back then for 99 cents. It was $10 for some
It
pampers.
gotta be at least in the
Right.
hundreds or something for you to
Yeah.
be tripping. Don't be coming to me about no $10. Even if
But if
did-
I gave it back, whether it was 5, 10, 100, 1,000, if I gave it right back,
Yeah.
a done
That's
deal.
how the deal is nullified.
I ain't taking up for
Right.
Unc, you was dead wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How do you overcome betrayal?
You know, the ladies have touched on it, like forgiveness. I think for me, it's a process. So a little bit of my testimony. So my father murdered my mother when I was 6 years old.
Oh,
And
damn.
so I was not I wasn't raised after that. I wasn't raised with my parents. I moved in with an aunt who raised me as her own. And so that's been mom for me for the last 30 some odd years. And so in having to repair a relationship with my father, it was a process. It was a long, tedious process. Asking questions like why, because of course, as a child, you hear different stories and you have different perspectives from outside people who weren't there when everything happened. And they really don't know. My mom is deceased. My dad is in prison. So I couldn't really get her perspective. I got other people's perspective of what they thought was going on in their home and in our home and their marriage. But over time, I was able to repair the relationship with my father by being honest with him about how it hurt, about how it was traumatic for me, about some other traumatic experiences that kind of rolled into that because I was not in a household with him. Some of the other things that I ended up having to experience as a child and a young lady. And so forgiveness absolutely came along the way. But I had to be real with him about how it affected me and how it still affects me. And so how it changed my perception on marriage, on love, on men, on, all these different things. And then eventually, he was honest. I think sometimes when people betray you, you have to have an open heart to give forgiveness, and you have to have an open heart to allow them to receive it. But then if they are willing to repair the relationship, you have to be willing to repair it. And so my father, even though he was incarcerated, even though he made this egregious mistake, he's always been active in my life. From prison, he helped me fill out college applications to get into college. He helped me write my essays and all these things. He's been number one dad, even though he made this terrible mistake. But I also had to get to the place where I was willing to forgive him and willing to allow him back into different parts of my heart that he had broken. So I think in reality, it's a process. You definitely have to set some boundaries with people. And there definitely has to come a point in time where you show people how you have kind of elevated and transformed in a way to where I'm not the same little girl I was. I'm an adult. I'm a woman. I can speak my mind. I know what I'm saying. I have my own thoughts, and I can't be persuaded by what you feel or what you think. I won't take ownership of your feelings because I'm trying to control my own. And so I think really betrayal is so loaded, but you have to be real. And the first step is being aware of that. If someone betrays you, that's not a you problem. That's a them problem. There's something within them.
KORRA, you got a book in you, baby. I need you because we don't have time to keep talking, and we want to hear it. But I'm looking at the time like, oh my God, I want to keep hearing. But baby, you need to write a book about betrayal.
We need to put her story on the stage.
Yes, KORRA. Think about it, girl. Think about it.
But I like to, we're getting close to the time to leave, and I just like you guys to be left with this one thing about family. Since we're talking about families and betrayal, charity begins at home. I don't care what type of public figure you are out in the street, what you do for this community and that community, but when your family is suffering, charity begins at home. Do for yours first before you go out and start trying to do for others. There's people right in your family that need. And some people do it just to show off or just for the title, whatever. But I'm going to leave you on the note that charity begins at home. and let's come together. Let's be better with our family member. Go find a family member that's struggling, someone that's been through what you've been through. Quit trying to play like you ain't never done nothing wrong. Quit trying to play like you never done all of the 7 deadly sins or whatever they may be.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted to go home, go reach out to your family. And if you have something, some type of you can identify with something that they're dealing with, help them.
Yes. And ladies, before we call it a night, if each of you all could give us your social media handles, and our person is going to go ahead and type it in the comments. So I guess I'll start with you, EDIA, if you can go ahead and give us your social media handles.
Absolutely. On Facebook, I'm EDIA Perry, or eBrandia is my musical social media page. I'm also eBrandia, the official eBrandia on Instagram. You can follow me there, _eBrandia on Twitter as well, although I don't use Twitter that much.
Okay. And KORRA, could you give us your social media handles?
Absolutely. Facebook is KORRA Williams, KORRA Williams. On Instagram, I am Miss KORRA Williams. And on Twitter, I don't know, but I have a school page on Twitter, so we're not going to even let the people tap into that.
Okay.
Keep that professional.
Okay, DETRAH, what's your social media handles?
On Facebook, I am DETRAH Brown. That is my personal page and my acting page. And then on Instagram, it's DETRAH Chanel. It's DETRAHSCHNELL.
Awesome, awesome. And once again, everybody, all three of these phenomenal ladies, they're going to be performing in a concert on Saturday, October 7th. And we're going to put the information back in the concert, and all three of them will be singing. So come on out and support.
We will be there.
Yes.
You can meet us. And also, before we leave, guys, we are inviting everybody to this special event, December the 9th. That is our epic meet and greet, cocktail and conversation, Christmas bazaar extravaganza, whatever you want to name it.
Yes,
it's going to be food. It's going to be talent. It's going to be a beautiful place. And we're going to have a good time. We want all you guys to come out. We're working on the flyer, and just open your calendars for December 9th. Don't make any other plans.
Keep it open.
Keep it open for us.
Y'all know, y'all listening, y'all here 2.5 months in advance, December 9th, okay? In the evening, between 6 and 10.
We got you.
Calendars.
So don't act like y'all didn't get the message.
Yeah. Now,
Look, what was that? What was that date again? What's the date?
December 9th.
23.
And y'all go over and like our page, guys, and continue to watch other interviews and stuff like that. And if it's something that intrigue you to propel you to come on our page and chime in, we would love to see you in the comments.
Yes.
We talk back and forth with our audience. We're just trying to heal and help one another and grow our community in a special way. We love you guys, and we'll see you next Monday at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.